Welcome, heroic knights, to the very messed up and sometimes dark mortal realms, because today we are talking about a story from the newest Stormcast Eternals battle tome that left me a bit floored, because it's a perfect description of exactly what the Stormcast Eternals are going through, and how they're not these perfect, one-dimensional characters without consequence. It sums up all of that in about a paragraph, which is pretty incredible. So one thing I'd like to add right up top here is that if you like this video and you like the Stormcast lore, please consider using the affiliate link in the description below. Noble Knight Games is a great store here in the Midwest with discounts on all Games Workshop products. They ship pretty much next day, if not the day after, and it goes an immensely long way to supporting me and my wife and this channel. And today's story is going to be called The Purest Excellence, and this comes directly from the new Stormcast battle tome. Thank you, Games Workshop, for sending this over. And so let's dig in. As Lord Celestant Katyan Thomein battles the tribes of the Dread Mask in Zintiel, she is privately conflicted. The enemy warlord is her own son, forcibly possessed during the Age of Chaos and being used as a grisly puppet by the demons. A lingering desire to save him, however, clashes with her duty as a Knight's Excelsior. Over 6 decades, the pair meet on 3 occasions, Katyan falling each time as hesitation stays her hand at the last moment. Upon their 4th encounter, however, the efforts of 3 Lord Exorcists allow the demonic presence to be successfully banished. Katyan's son is restored and his soul cleansed, only for him to be immediately slain by his mother, who has been reforged so many times that she no longer remembers his face. So, to break this down in case any details, confuse anyone if you're newer to the game or the setting, normally it would be extremely difficult or rare for a Stormcast Eternal to ever meet a direct descendant like a son or a daughter. It's not impossible, of course, it shows up once or twice, but it is very rare, simply because the reforging process and training them takes a lot of time. But here, we have a twist, because just as the lightning of a Azir renders the soul of a Stormcast immortal, so too can the corrupting power of chaos keep a mortal form from aging. And so, in this way, mother and son have been given eternal life, albeit on opposite sides of the coin. And there's a few concepts here I really want to dig into in this story. The first one simply is that Katyan is still human, right? When the first Stormcast Eternals book dropped, they really did seem more like automatons. At least the non-specific hero-named character ones did. Stormcast seemed very kind of flat, I would say, in terms of character arcs, and stories like this directly confront that notion. She was a mother, and I assume a very loving one in life. There's no reason to think that she wasn't. It's never expanded upon, but I'm so curious to know which happened first, right? Was the son possessed first, and then he slayed his own mother, and then that's when Sigmar took her up? Did the mother die defending her son or her family, and when she was struck down, she was taken, so she actually didn't know, meaning that the forces of chaos twisted her son into a monster later? Either way, it's an immense tragedy, but the fact remains these two had a life together. And with that life comes all the memories and values and good times and bad times and baggage associated with it. And at many points, at least 3, those emotions and that tie to that family bond overrode her faith and mission in the God King Sigmar. Remember, he gives no pause to chaos. He reforged Katyan as a weapon to fight these exact kinds of horrors. And for there to be a moment of hesitation is, I'm sure to her contemporaries, quite appalling. 3 times they met on the battlefield, and 3 times she could not do her duty as a soldier, because she was a mother first, and a weapon of war second. And I like that. I mean, it's so devastating to kind of wrap your head around, but at the same time, it's so beautiful, because all of those, reforgings that she did for the longest time, and obviously becoming a Stormcast at first, she was still the mother first. But the tragedy of becoming a Stormcast is that you are on a long path to losing the very things that made you a hero worthy of becoming one in the first place. I'm sure Sigmar chose her for her unquestionable zeal to do the right thing, to be stoic and proud when she's at her darkest hour. I mean, heck, that's why she's a Knights Excelsior, right? This is the most exacting and somewhat puritanical of the storm hosts, just as much inquisitors as they are warriors. They'd see black and white, that's it. So there was definitely something in her mortal life that Sigmar saw and was like, I need that on my team. And yet, those very values interfere with her ability to carry out his will. And so the curse of being a Stormcast begins to be revealed. Again, he's finally cleansed, the demons are gone, she technically has her boy back, the boy that she has yearned for 60 years, right? I mean, trying not to kill him, but free him. And at the moment where she gets everything that she wants, we see the price of her immortality and she kills him. Because by the time they got to that fourth attempt at purging the demons, Katyan, the mother, had worn away from her reforgings, and Lord Celestant Katyan Thomein of the Knights Excelsior was all that was left. Now, I'm sure she's great as a Lord Celestant. I don't know anything about her outside this story, but I think we can agree that there's an immense amount of sadness in watching someone or yourself fade into nothing. Right? She was chosen to be a Stormcast Eternal for who she was in life, but her soul was so worn out by reforgings and war that when the moment came where she got everything she needed, like she wanted to save her son, there wasn't enough of her left to understand or enjoy it. And so we end up with a tragedy of a mother killing her own son. Now, what I really think makes this story so interesting to me is because it's happening everywhere, right? This specific tale is a great example of it because we have two characters that were directly related in life. But all across the realms, as reforgings are going on, Stormcasts are losing their humanity. The things that make them the perfect heroes are eroding. And all that's left are these demigods that grow incredibly separate and distinct from humanity. The defenders of man slowly becoming these terrifying keepers. Whether it's memories of a place long ago, people they sacrificed for, or even just the niceties of being able to talk and connect with other people in a meaningful way, the Stormcast Eternals are losing it more and more as time goes on. Not even the new armor by Grugny is slowing this down. The Sacrosanct Chamber has been constantly researching how to stop it. Nothing. And so, it might not be as dramatic as a mother killing her son, but stories like this of loss of humanity within the human defenders of Stormcast is happening all the time. This is just a great illustration of it because the two are related. Now I'm going to end this video like I end all of mine by just simply asking the question, why is this cool? Cool might not be the best word here, but it's certainly insightful, right? I love when Stormcast Eternals have to deal with their past, to be reminded of a world and life before all of this and having to deal with it, and deal with what the world was allowed to become when Sigmar shut the doors. And this can look like a lot of different things. We saw terrible flashbacks, I guess you could call them PTSD, like flashbacks from Gardas and his life as a healer when he was trying to fight off the Nurgle plagues and eventually everyone got, subsumed by them. Whether it's the, tribes of Vandus Hammerhand back when he was alive and he was like a smith or something like that. They see the landscape change. It looks strangely familiar, but it's very different because so much time has passed. They might see ruins of a place that was once their very, very home. And so we're looking at them, at the realms, really, through their eyes, which is a very removed perspective. And I absolutely love any time we get to do that. Another great story for people kind of, I should say Stormcast having to deal with their past. I talk about it a bunch. The Neve Black Talon First Mark book is a really wonderful one. I will not spoil what happens in that for you, but we have a Stormcast hero from the Hammers of Sigmar having to confront the things in her past that set her on her course. So it's just a lot of interesting things when they have to re-engage with the demons of their own mortality. To be honest, I'd love to see more stories where their faith is tested, questioning Sigmar. This is a story where 3 times, Katyan the mother won over Katyan the Lord Celestant, right? She stayed her hand, couldn't kill her son, and then the 4th time it went the other way. But I would love to see more stories like that, where there's some aspect of their humanity that prevents them. Like, I just can't do this. Sigmar asks too much of me at this point, and I think that that is a great place to really focus on the Stormcast, because it just makes them so, quite frankly, relatable. Conversely, it's a great way of showing off the growing inhumanity that gnaws at every Stormcast Eternal. So I don't know, this one just really stood out to me. I wanted to talk about it because I found it to be, it's a very sad story. I don't like to focus on sad stuff here, but the truth is, like, it just demonstrates the depth of lore that has been added to Stormcast since their launch, and I really do appreciate it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about this one. If you wouldn't mind, at the same time, throw in a click on that like button. It really does help the channel grow, and I appreciate every single one of them. So thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll catch you in my next Age of Sigmar lore video. Happy wargaming.